Jake jolted awake, his heart pounding in his chest. The bed next to him was cold and empty. He sprang up, scanning the dimly lit room. "Tara," he called out, his voice trembling. Silence answered. He stumbled out of bed and checked the bathroom, kitchen, and living room, but found no sign of Tara. No note, no message, and no evidence of a struggle. It was as if she had simply disappeared. Jake's mind spun. How could she leave after 8 years together? And how would he explain this to their daughter, Mira? Just then, Mira's small voice called from the hallway, "Dad, where's Mom?" Jake turned to see Mira standing there, her greenish-blue skin faintly glowing in the morning light. Her large golden eyes were filled with confusion and concern. He forced a smile, his heart aching. "Mom had to go away for a while, sweetheart, but don't worry. Everything will be okay." Mira's lower lip quivered. But why didn't she say goodbye? Jake pulled her into a tight embrace, his own heart breaking. "I don't know, honey. I really don't." Days turned into weeks as Jake threw himself into his job at the engineering firm, trying to keep things normal for Mira's sake. But the whispers and stares were becoming unbearable. One afternoon, as Jake picked Mira up from school, he noticed a group of parents whispering and casting suspicious glances their way. "There they are," one woman hissed. "I told you it's unnatural. That child isn't human." "I heard the mother left," another added. "Can't say I blame her." Jake's jaw tightened, his grip on Mira's hand firming as he hurried them to the car. "Dad, why don't the other kids want to play with me anymore?" Mira asked softly. Jake's heart shattered. He knelt down and looked into her eyes. "Some people are just afraid of what they don't understand, sweetheart. But that's their problem, not yours. You're perfect just as you are." Mira nodded, though doubt lingered in her eyes. That night, a sharp knock at the door jolted Jake awake. He glanced at the clock, 2:37 a.m. His stomach churned as he approached the door, peering through the peephole. 2 men in dark suits stood outside, their expressions stern. Government agents. Jake's pulse raced. He opened the door a crack, keeping the chain latched. "Can I help you?" The taller agent flashed a badge. "Mr. Reynolds, we're with the Department of Extraterrestrial Affairs. We need to talk to you about your daughter." Jake's blood ran cold. It's the middle of the night. This isn't appropriate. The shorter agent's eyes narrowed. "Mr. Reynolds, I'm sure you understand the unique nature of your situation. It would be best for everyone if you cooperated." "Come back with a warrant," Jake growled, slamming the door shut. He leaned against it, heart pounding. Things were escalating faster than he had feared. The next morning, Jake had a serious talk with Mira. "Remember how we practiced keeping your emotions under control?" Mira nodded solemnly. "Because sometimes when I get upset, weird things happen?" "That's right," Jake said gently. "It's more important than ever to stay calm, okay? No matter what anyone says or does." Mira nodded, though the hurt in her eyes was evident. Her unique appearance made her a target, and a week later, Jake received a frantic call from the school. Arriving to find chaos, he saw Mira in the middle of it, tears streaming down her face, surrounded by a faint blue aura. "They wouldn't stop," she sobbed. "They called me a freak and said I should go back to my own planet. I didn't mean to, Dad. I'm sorry." Jake gathered her up, his mind racing. This was the last straw. They couldn't stay here any longer. That night, after Mira had fallen asleep, Jake made a flurry of calls. He sold off their assets and used every favor he could. By morning, he had secured an old freighter, the Horizon, and enough supplies to leave Earth. As he packed their belongings, guilt washed over him. Was uprooting Mira from everything she'd ever known the right choice? But the fear in her eyes, the hostility of their neighbors, and the government agents at their door told him Earth was no longer safe. Maybe, out among the stars, they would find answers about Tara. Dawn broke as Jake gently shook Mira awake. "Time to go, sweetheart. We're going on an adventure." Mira rubbed her eyes, confused. "Where are we going?" Jake managed a small smile. "To find your mom and to find a place where you can be yourself without hiding or being afraid." As they boarded the Horizon, Mira clutched her favorite stuffed animal. "Dad, are you scared?" Jake paused before nodding slightly. "A little, but that's okay. The important thing is we're together. The ship's engines roared to life. Through the view screen, Earth grew smaller and smaller until it was just another twinkling light in the vast expanse of space. Jake took a deep breath and set a course for the unknown. Hold on tight, kiddo. Our adventure is just beginning. The first few days aboard the Horizon were a whirlwind. Jake worked on retrofitting the old freighter, transforming cargo holds into livable spaces. Mira followed him around, her curiosity temporarily outweighing her sadness. "Dad, what does this do?" she asked, pointing to a panel of blinking lights. Jake grinned. "That's part of the life support system. It makes sure we have air to breathe and keeps the temperature just right." Mira's eyes widened. "Like a big space house?" "Exactly," Jake chuckled. "And over here is going to be your room." He showed her a small chamber outfitted with a bunk, storage compartments, and a desk. A holographic projector displayed different planetary landscapes on the wall. Mira's face lit up. "It's perfect." For a moment, Jake allowed himself to hope that maybe this crazy plan could work. But as the novelty wore off, the vastness of space felt both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Jake lay awake at night, doubts gnawing at him. What if they never found Tara? What if something happened to the ship? How could he keep Mira safe? One evening, as they sat in the makeshift galley eating reconstituted meals, Mira pushed her food around listlessly. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" Jake asked. "I miss my friends and Grandma and Grandpa," Mira said. "When are we going back home?" Jake's heart clenched. "Earth isn't our home anymore. I know it's hard to understand, but we had to leave to keep you safe." Mira's lower lip trembled. "Because I'm a freak?" Jake reached across the table, taking her hand. "You are not a freak. You're special, and someday we'll find a place where everyone sees that." Mira nodded, but Jake could see the doubt in her eyes. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair. "How about we do something fun after dinner? We could watch one of those old Earth movies you like." A small smile tugged at Mira's lips. "Can we watch the one with the singing ice princess again?" Jake groaned good-naturedly. "If we must, but I get to pick next time." As they settled in to watch the film, Mira curled up against Jake's side. He wrapped an arm around her, marveling at how small and vulnerable she felt. He silently renewed his vow to protect her no matter the cost. Weeks passed as they traveled through the nearest star systems to Earth. Jake had heard rumors of an alien outpost on a remote moon, but so far, their search had yielded nothing. One afternoon, while running diagnostics on the ship's propulsion system, a proximity alarm blared. Jake rushed to the cockpit, his heart racing as a massive ship appeared on the view screen. It was at least 10 times the size of the Horizon, sleek and unlike anything Jake had ever seen. "Dad?" Mira's voice trembled as she joined him at the view screen. "What is that?" Before Jake could answer, a crackling voice came through the ship's comm system. The language was unfamiliar, musical tones and clicks. "We come in peace," Jake tried, fumbling with the controls. "We're just passing through. No trouble here." The alien ship responded immediately. A shimmering energy field enveloped the Horizon, cutting power to all systems. Panic surged as the larger vessel began to pull them in. Jake turned to Mira, whose eyes were wide with fear. "It's going to be okay," Jake said, trying to sound reassuring. "Whatever happens, we stick together." Mira nodded, clutching his hand as the Horizon was drawn into the alien ship's docking bay. Jake's mind raced. Had they finally found a lead on Terra, or had they just jumped from the frying pan into the fire? As the docking bay doors sealed shut, one thing was clear. Their lives were about to change forever. The docking bay hissed as it depressurized, and Jake stood protectively in front of Mira. The Horizon's hatch groaned open, revealing 3 towering metallic figures. "Greetings, travelers," said the central figure, its voice a melodious hum. "I am Arion of the Celestial Alliance. We detected your vessel's primitive warp signature and grew curious." Jake tried to steady his voice. "We're looking for someone. My wife, Tara. She's from another planet. Have you seen her?" Arion's golden eyes glowed softly as it processed the request. "Tara, a being of exceptional beauty and grace. Yes, we have encountered her." Mira squeezed Jake's hand tighter. "Is she okay?" Arion's expression softened. She is safe, but she chose to remain among our kind for a time. Her path diverged from yours. Jake's heart sank. Why did she leave us? Ariane's gaze was full of empathy. Tara had duties beyond what you may understand. She had to help her people, and it was not a decision made lightly. Mira looked up at Jake with tears in her eyes. Will we see her again? Ariane paused, then said, It is possible. The decision rests with Tara. But we offer you sanctuary and assistance as you continue your journey. Your daughter's presence here is of great importance. Jake and Mira exchanged looks. The offer was unexpected, but held a glimmer of hope. Can we stay here for a while? We need to figure things out. Ariane nodded. You are welcome to stay. We will ensure your safety and provide you with the resources you need. As they disembarked and began their new life aboard the Celestial Alliance's station, Jake felt a mix of relief and uncertainty. He still had many questions, but the warm welcome from their alien hosts was a start. With Mira by his side and a renewed sense of purpose, Jake prepared for the journey ahead. Whatever the future held, he knew they would face it together, one step at a time. The Celestial Alliance's station was a marvel of advanced technology, sprawling across an entire moon surface with gleaming towers and intricate structures that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Jake and Mira were guided through the docking bay into a sleek transport vessel, which took them to a section of the station designed for new arrivals. As the transport doors opened, Jake's senses were overwhelmed by the vibrant, alien surroundings. The air was filled with the soft hum of machinery and the low, melodic chatter of various alien species going about their business. Mira's eyes sparkled with a mixture of awe and apprehension. Ariane led them to a comfortable living area adorned with strange but beautiful decorations. The furniture seemed to change color subtly, adjusting to their needs. This will be your temporary residence, Ariane said. Please make yourselves at home. We will ensure you have everything you need. Jake took a deep breath, feeling a small knot of anxiety loosen in his chest. Thank you. This is incredible. We'll need to get our bearings, but this is a good start. Ariane's golden eyes softened. We will arrange for a guide to assist you in acclimating to our station. Additionally, if there is anything specific you require, do not hesitate to ask. After Ariane departed, Jake and Mira explored their new quarters. The room had a panoramic view of the moon's surface, with stars twinkling in the distance. Mira immediately gravitated towards a small, glowing device that projected images of different planets and star systems. Dad, look at this, she exclaimed, her earlier sadness momentarily forgotten. It's like we can see the whole galaxy from here. Jake smiled, feeling a pang of hope. It's amazing, isn't it? We'll have to learn more about all these places. Their exploration was cut short by a gentle chime at the door. A tall, graceful alien with delicate, translucent wings and a serene expression entered. Greetings, it said in a soothing tone. I am Leora, your assigned guide. I will assist you in adapting to life here and help with any inquiries you may have. Thank you, Leora, Jake said, extending a hand in the universal gesture of greeting. We're still adjusting. I guess we could use all the help we can get. Leora nodded gracefully. Of course. I will begin by showing you around the station and introducing you to the various amenities available to you. As Leora led them through the station, Jake marveled at the technological advancements and the harmonious blend of alien cultures. They visited a central hub with interactive displays about different species and their contributions to the Alliance, a research center with fascinating projects, and a community area where aliens of various races mingled. Mira was fascinated by a section dedicated to artistic and cultural exhibitions, where holographic displays projected performances from across the galaxy. She was particularly taken by a dance performance from a race of beings with bioluminescent skin, their movements synchronized with ethereal music. Leora observed Mira's interest with a gentle smile. The arts are an integral part of many cultures here. It's a way for different species to share their stories and traditions. Jake was grateful for Leora's attentiveness and the sense of normalcy it brought to their lives. They returned to their quarters, and as Mira settled into her new room with a glowing mural that shifted shapes, Jake found himself reflecting on their journey. That evening, Jake sat by the viewport, staring out at the stars. The weight of their situation pressed heavily on him. He thought about Tara, about the life they once had, and the uncertainty of the future. The next morning, Leora reappeared with a datapad. I've gathered some information on various planetary systems where your wife might be. We've also arranged for a meeting with a few experts who might be able to assist in locating her. Jake's heart raced. That would be incredibly helpful. Thank you. Leora nodded. We will schedule the meeting for tomorrow. In the meantime, I suggest exploring the station further. Familiarizing yourself with your surroundings will help you feel more at ease. Mira's excitement was palpable as she joined Jake in exploring new parts of the station. They visited a communal garden where plants from different worlds grew side by side, each one more exotic than the last. Mira was particularly fascinated by a species of flower that changed colors in response to touch. That evening, as they settled down for dinner in their quarters, Mira's curiosity seemed to ease her homesickness. Jake was relieved to see her laughing at one of her favorite Earth cartoons projected on the wall. Jake's thoughts kept returning to the meeting with the experts. He hoped it would provide some clarity about Tara's situation. As he lay in bed, Mira snuggled beside him. He tried to remain optimistic. The next day, Leora escorted them to a conference room where a group of alien experts awaited. Among them was a kindly, elderly being with a silver mane and deep-set eyes that seemed to hold centuries of wisdom. "Welcome," the being said in a warm, resonant voice. "I am Callius, a historian and expert on interspecies relations. How may we assist you?" Jake explained their situation, recounting the limited details he had about Tara's departure and their search. Callius listened intently, his eyes reflecting understanding and concern. "I see," Callius said after a moment. "Tara's departure may have been influenced by her commitments to her people. However, the Celestial Alliance maintains extensive records of such events. I can consult these records and see if we can pinpoint her location or learn more about her current status." The hope that surged within Jake was tempered by the uncertainty. "Thank you, Callius. Anything you can find would be invaluable." Callius nodded. "I will begin immediately. In the meantime, I suggest you continue to explore and make yourselves comfortable. You are in good hands here." As Jake and Mira left the conference room, the weight of their journey felt a bit lighter. They explored more of the station, finding solace in its beauty and the kindness of its inhabitants. Mira even made a few friends among the station's children, and her laughter once again became a familiar sound. Days turned into weeks as Callius and his team worked diligently. One afternoon, as Jake and Mira were having lunch in a communal area, Leora approached with a hopeful expression. "Mr. Reynolds, Callius has made progress in his search," she said. "He would like to meet with you to discuss his findings." Jake's heart raced as they followed Leora to the conference room. Callius was waiting with a datapad displaying a star map. "I have located a potential lead," Callius began. "Based on our records and recent communications, there is a strong indication that Tara may be on a planet called Vidiian. It is known for its diplomatic functions and is a significant hub for interspecies relations." Jake's eyes widened. "Vidiian? Do you have any details about how to reach it or how she might be involved there?" Callius nodded. "I can provide you with coordinates and further information. It seems Tara's presence there is linked to a diplomatic mission involving her species." Jake felt a surge of both hope and trepidation. "Thank you, Callius. This could be the breakthrough we've been waiting for." As they prepared to leave the meeting, Leora offered a reassuring smile. "We will assist you in any way we can. Your journey has been difficult, but you are not alone." With new hope and a destination in sight, Jake and Mira made their preparations. The Horizon was refueled and equipped for the journey to Vidiian. As they boarded the ship and set course for the distant planet, Jake couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and anxiety. "Ready for the next part of our adventure, Mira?" he asked, trying to sound upbeat. Mira nodded, her face determined. "I'm ready, Dad. Let's find Mom." The Horizon slipped out of the Celestial Alliance's docking bay and into the vast expanse of space once more. Jake took a deep breath, focusing on the coordinates and navigating through the stars. As they traveled toward Vidiian, Jake looked at Mira, who was gazing out the viewport, her eyes filled with wonder. He felt a renewed sense of purpose. No matter what awaited them on Vidiian, He knew they were one step closer to finding Terra and reclaiming their family. The journey ahead was uncertain, but with Mira by his side and the support of their new friends, Jake felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The stars stretched out before them, and with each passing moment, the hope of finding Terra and a new chapter in their lives seemed just within reach. As the horizon glided through the cosmos toward Vidiian, the vast, uncharted territories of space became a backdrop to their renewed hope. The ship was filled with the soft hum of its advanced systems and the gentle sway of the zero-gravity environment. Jake had taken to tinkering with the controls, while Mira, with her toddler curiosity, found new ways to explore the ship's features. Mira's laughter echoed through the corridors, her tiny hands gripping a holographic toy that projected colorful shapes and sounds. She was particularly fascinated by a device that allowed her to interact with virtual animals, fluffy creatures with big eyes and playful antics that made her giggle uncontrollably. "Look, Daddy," Mira exclaimed, holding up the holographic projector to show Jake a virtual kitten batting at a floating ball. "It's so cute." Jake smiled, his heart warming at the sight of his daughter's joy. "It is cute, isn't it? I think it might be the most adorable thing in the universe." Mira's chubby cheeks flushed with excitement, and her bright eyes sparkled with mischief as she waved the projector around, making the kitten leap and twirl. "Can we keep one, Daddy? Just like this one?" Jake chuckled and gently ruffled her hair. "We don't have room for a real kitten, but we can keep this virtual one for as long as you want." The journey was uneventful, with the occasional gravitational anomaly providing some excitement. Mira's laughter and boundless energy kept Jake's spirits high. He marveled at how resilient and adaptable she was, even in the midst of such uncertainty. One evening, as the stars outside the viewport sparkled like scattered diamonds, Jake and Mira sat down for dinner. The ship's kitchen, while modest, was stocked with a variety of foods from different worlds. Mira's eyes widened at the sight of a small, glowing fruit that seemed to float above her plate. "What's this, Daddy?" she asked, her tiny fingers reaching out. "That's a lumina fruit," Jake explained, cutting a piece for her. "It's sweet and it glows because it absorbs starlight." Mira took a tentative bite, and her eyes lit up with delight. "It's like eating stars. Can I have more?" Jake laughed, handing her another piece. "Of course. We've got plenty." As they continued their meal, Jake reflected on how much Mira had grown through this journey. She was a beacon of light in their lives, her innocence and curiosity providing comfort and strength. As they approached Vidiian, the ship's sensors detected the planet's atmosphere, and Jake adjusted the controls for a smooth descent. Mira, strapped into her small seat with a colorful harness, clutched a plush, star-shaped toy, her eyes wide with anticipation. "We're almost there, Mira," Jake said, glancing at her through the rearview mirror. "Are you excited?" Mira nodded vigorously, her curls bouncing with the motion. "I can't wait to see where we're going. Is it going to be like a big playground?" Jake grinned. "Maybe not exactly like a playground, but it will be an incredible place. And we might even find some new friends." As the horizon touched down on Vidiian, Jake couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and nerves. The planet below was a swirling mix of green and blue, with sprawling cities and lush landscapes. The atmosphere was clear and inviting. Jake guided the ship to a designated landing area, and as the ramp lowered, Mira's eyes grew even wider. She hopped excitedly in her seat, her tiny hands gripping the armrests. "Look, Daddy, it's so pretty." Jake nodded, his heart swelling with pride. "It really is. Let's go see what adventures await us." The ramp touched down, and the fresh air of Vidiian filled the ship. As Jake and Mira stepped out, they were greeted by a breathtaking panorama of floating gardens and crystalline structures. The sky above was a deep azure, dotted with shimmering clouds that seemed almost within reach. A welcoming committee of Vidiian's inhabitants, elegant beings with flowing robes and graceful movements, approached them with warm smiles. One of them, a tall figure with an intricate headdress, extended a hand. "Welcome to Vidiian. I am Elian, the planet's liaison for visitors. We're honored to have you here." Jake shook Elian's hand, his nerves easing at the warm reception. "Thank you. We're here looking for my wife," Tara Reynolds. She's been working here on a diplomatic mission. Elian's eyes softened with understanding. We will do everything in our power to assist you in finding her. Please follow me. I'll show you to our main embassy where we can begin our search. As they walked through the stunning landscapes of Vidiian, Mira marveled at the sights around her. She pointed at the floating gardens and giggled at the sight of glowing creatures fluttering about. "Daddy, look at that flower. It's dancing," Mira exclaimed, pointing at a luminescent plant that swayed rhythmically in the breeze. Jake smiled, feeling a sense of hopefulness. "It's beautiful, isn't it? This place is full of wonders." Elian led them to the embassy, a magnificent building with translucent walls that seemed to shift colors with the light. Inside, they were greeted by a team of experts and diplomats who were already working on gathering information about Tara. "We'll start by reviewing recent diplomatic logs and communications," Elian explained. "In the meantime, please feel free to explore and make yourselves comfortable." As the team began their work, Jake and Mira were given a tour of the embassy's facilities. Mira was especially taken with a play area designed for young visitors, complete with soft, bouncy surfaces and interactive toys. Jake watched as Mira played, her laughter ringing through the room. The sight of her happiness amidst all the uncertainty was a balm to his worried heart. "Thank you, Elian," Jake said quietly, his gratitude evident, "for everything you're doing. It means a lot to us." Elian nodded with a gentle smile. "It is our honor to assist you. We understand the importance of family, and we will do all we can to reunite you." As the day wore on, Jake and Mira settled into their temporary quarters within the embassy. Mira's curiosity remained unabated, and she was soon exploring every nook and cranny with infectious enthusiasm. That evening, as they prepared for bed, Mira clutched her star-shaped toy and looked up at Jake with a sleepy but hopeful expression. "Do you think we'll find Mommy soon, Daddy?" Jake tucked her into bed, his heart aching at her question. "I believe we will, Mira. We're closer than ever, and we have wonderful people helping us." Mira yawned and snuggled into her blankets, her tiny hands holding her star toy tightly. "I can't wait to see her. I miss her so much." Jake kissed her forehead and whispered, "I know, sweetheart. We all do. But we're doing everything we can to bring her back." As Jake watched Mira drift off to sleep, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had come a long way, and with each step forward, the hope of finding Tara and reuniting their family seemed within reach. The stars outside their window continued to shine brightly, a reminder that even in the vastness of space, hope and love could light the way.